Oh my word, I think I need to do a makeup tutorial because Bona. Ooh, I look so cute. I'm super chuffed with this look. But let's start the video. Hello to my beautiful, beautiful flowers. Welcome to my channel and welcome to these beautiful flowers. Aren't they just gorgeous? I'm in love. I'm obsessed. I just had to dress to like compliment them because they're so beautiful. In this video, we are talking about feminine wellness, feminine health, talking about smelly vages, itchy vages, all the things that we go through as women that are like not the best. But we're trying to obviously work through it, and we're trying to get healthier and really figure it out. So yeah, let's start the video. Okay, so I cannot start this video without a disclaimer. I have to create a disclaimer because at the end of the day, I am not a doctor. I am not a gynecologist. Like I'm not trained for years and years to do this. It's just kind of my own iterative process, like what I've seen works for me. So obviously consult with your gynecologist. I 100% believe that you should see a gynecologist at least once a year. I know it's not like the cheapest thing in the world, especially if you don't have like good health care, but if you can see one, definitely go see one once a year at least. But yeah, that is my disclaimer that I'm not a healthcare provider, so I just have to tell you that so you don't sue me and then I'm no longer a stay-at-home girlfriend because you took all my man's money. Okay, now that that's out of the way, let's talk about the two things I want to discuss in this video, and that is one, yeast infections, and two, BV. So let's start with what is a yeast infection. You know, as women, we go through hormonal changes, we go through unbalanced pH levels, which is what causes a yeast infection in a way, and we just go through a lot of like different changes in our bodies. Diet contributes, a whole bunch of things contributes, but I think it's important for us to understand the enemy, you know, to understand what we're dealing with. I'm all about like definitions and like what things mean, and the reason why those things even happen. So a yeast infection is pretty much a fungal infection. It's a fungus. It comes from a fungus called Candida, and that fungus is what creates the chaos inside our poor cookies. Okay, so I mean, Candida is pretty much found in like other parts of your body as well, but I mean, once your pH is like triggered and it's off, that's when things start going a bit haywire. But let's just look at the formal definition of what a yeast infection is. According to Google, a yeast infection is a fungal infection that is caused by Candida. The condition can cause inflammation both inside and outside of the cookie, intense itching, and a white discharge. So Candida is a yeast that can be found in many areas of the body, like I said, and it's not considered to be an STD, by the way. I think some people really think like, oh my gosh, I got something from somebody because I have Candida. Just realize that this happens to like 3 out of 4 women. Like, so majority of women do actually experience some form of a yeast infection at some point in their lives. I know in South Africa we actually have quite a high stat. I think I read somewhere that it was about like 1 million women at least that suffer from this condition every single year. So I'm saying all of this to make sure that you like don't feel alone, and that, oh my gosh, something's really wrong with my body and like I can't get it together, like these things are recurring, like what's the problem? I just want you to know that this is like quite common. Okay, so let's talk about bacterial vaginosis. There's a difference between having a yeast infection and having BV, which is bacterial vaginosis. So bacterial vaginosis is also caused, you know, by imbalance of your flora and an imbalance of your pH. So we have good bacteria and bad bacteria in our cookies. So when you are having yeast infections or BV, there is an overgrowth of the bad bacteria. I couldn't quite find what the name of the bad bacteria was when it came to BV. I'm sure I'll put it here somewhere. But it's pretty much that, you know, bad, good versus evil. Evil takes over and then your cookie is exploding. So that's pretty much what happens in like a weird summary. That's what happens to you. But BV as well is usually, excuse me, it's usually seen in women who are of childbearing age. Like, I don't even know what that means. Like, that's, if you go like by old school standards, that's literally from 16 years old. So yeah, I really started experiencing a lot of my own like BV issues when I turned 30. Like, oh my gosh, my hormones went bananas. Okay, they went bananas. It was crazy. I didn't even know what happened to me. I was like, is this my body? Like, what's changed? So yeah, I mean, I feel like your hormones play a huge part in you having BV, you having yeast infections. It's not just, you know, a lot of external factors that we like to mention. But I just wanted to get clear, you know, there's a difference between BV, a difference between yeast infections, but let's talk solutions. Let's talk what helps and what can, you know, get us to like a happy, healthy, you know, cookie place. Cookie dreams, cookie heaven. Let's talk about cookie heaven. Okay, so what causes, you know, yeast infections? What causes BV? What is the issue here? Like, what are you supposed to avoid at all costs so that you don't get this? I don't think this list is going to protect you, because sometimes it's just bad luck. Sometimes it's just you're a demon. Sometimes it's just those kinds of things, you know, that like come for you. But I think it's important to just kind of know and be aware that, oh, okay, when I'm doing this, this can like actually affect me or trigger me, and like, you know, good bacteria can start like dwindling and more bad bacteria can start to like flourish. So one of the things is actually, you know, unprotected poom poom. I don't even know, like, you know, YouTube now, they're so tight, they're so strict that I don't even know like what words I'm supposed to say and what words I can say, can't say. It's like, it's a whole mess. So I'm just gonna be saying like a bunch of like, you know, AKAs in this thing. But yeah, definitely you having like some unprotected vibes with a person, that person can knock off your pH. I learned from my doctor that condoms can knock off your pH. There's a bacteria that most black women don't have a lot of. I'll put it here because I just don't want to bite my tongue off trying to say this word. But that bacteria is something that, yeah, black women don't really have a lot of. So you really just need to keep like having a supplement for it so that you're not constantly and repeatedly like suffering from yeast infections or BV. Another thing can be contraceptives. Another thing can be diet. You're not drinking enough water. You're not looking after your body. You can be stressed. There can be hormonal changes in your body that you need to factor in and consider when it comes to having these kinds of problems with your downstairs area, with your bestie. So yeah, I guess just knowing like the causes is really important, but I think focusing on the solution, because at the end of the day, you are there, like it's happened, okay? You've got the BV, you've got the yeast infection. Now what? So let's talk about my favorite products. There are things that have just helped me tremendously. I mean, things that I just wish someone had told me about. Like, I'm someone who likes to spend money, if you don't know. I'm someone who loves to spend money, who loves to like try new things. So thankfully I was able to like find things that work for me over time, and I am here as your big sister or as your peer to give you that advice, to give you that tea. This is like the most exciting part of the video. Things that work. Things that actually have solutions to our problems, ladies. So the first thing I would say, this is like my MVP, my number one, numero uno, baby girl. Okay, I just love her and she's natural. So come on, we can like take as much of this thing as we like, you know, theoretically can. And that is a cookie balance. So Cookie Balance is from a company called Lele Feminine, and this is an amazing feminine wellness, feminine, you know, health brand. I really enjoy Lele so much. So Cookie Balance pretty much works like it's a suppository. Unfortunately, it's a suppository. How else can it work? It has to like get in there, which I'm okay with because it works. So it's a suppository, and you just kind of grab that little inserter thing, you pop the pill in, and then you're pretty much able to you know, put it up there, and it pops open, pops into you, and then it starts like disintegrating and kind of fixing your problems. So the Cookie Balance is pretty much made out of boric acid. Boric acid helps your your good bacteria to kind of flourish down there, and that is how your problems are solved. Boric acid is a somewhat natural solution, so I prefer that. I don't like sticking a bunch of chemicals, a bunch of issues inside me. That is why I've not liked the pill, because I just feel like, no, we're doing too much here. Like, this is not for me. You know, but to each their own. Like, it's not my thing, it could be your thing, and that's fine. So Cookie Balance, I 1,000% recommend this product. So I'll put all the products in the link actually in the description, so that you're able to buy it, you're able to just get a quick solution. But even read the reviews, like don't just listen to me, read the reviews, like look it up on TikTok and all these other places, and you'll see that it is awesome. Another product I've been loving as of late is a probiotic. I love this probiotic. I read about it when I was looking for something on like Faithful to Nature or something, and yeah, so it's got cranberry in it and I really like that. So it's a probiotic and it's got a cranberry supplement, so that is awesome. The reviews were amazing, and so I've been taking that for like the past maybe 3 weeks now, and I feel like it's worked. Though you have to be like really religious. The minute you start like coming off of it, you might just see yourself having some problems. So be consistent, like get some, you know, that little tablet thing that you can use to like take your pills every day, like Monday, Tuesday, you know, it's got that the letters on top. That's really useful. I have one and I enjoy it so much. So get that if you can, and it'll help you like stay consistent with the probiotics. I'm about to get one now on Amazon, so I'm waiting for that one to come in the mail, and that's the one that has the bacteria that I was saying that, you know, us as black women we lack. So that is the first ingredient in that probiotic, in that vitamin. So I'm super excited to try it. I'll give you guys some feedback, I don't know, probably on my Instagram. You can follow me on Instagram actually, right there. And yeah, I'll do like a review, an update on like if it was amazing or if it sucked, because even shipping it here from Amazon, like until I think I paid like $6.40 plus taxes, so plus shipping and taxes. So not bad at all. I love non-chemical things. They're like my favorite thing. I'll pop it in my body. I have no questions. Just give it to me. So the next product I really enjoy and I love so much is called Kiko. It's Kiko vitamins. And so this is also mostly natural, and this has really helped in terms of just managing my hormonal changes. It's amazing if you're someone who wants to get off the pill and it's not like too much of a rough ride for you. You want to just make it like smooth sailing for you to get off the pill. It's incredible. The reviews are really good as well. So try the Kiko Health one. I just take this about like once a day. It's quite affordable as well. It's a very affordable vitamin and I enjoy it. I've seen a huge difference when it comes to my PMS, just like managing my otherwise, you know, imbalanced emotions and hormones. It's helped a lot. I think it's had like a positive impact on my relationship, especially when it just comes to, you know, the PMS time. Like my PMS used to be pretty intense, but now it's very manageable and I can still like enjoy my cycle and enjoy my life. Okay, now that we're done with all the probiotics, all the things we could potentially put into our body to help us get balanced, let's talk about what we can do on the outside. Okay, what has been helpful, what has been amazing for me. Okay, so the first product is called a Sebamed. So this was actually a recommendation from my doctor. When I saw that it was like an intimate wash for like 50 plus, I just had to cackle. I was like, no, am I here already? Like literally it felt like I have menopause, and it smells like it's for 50 plus. Trust me, it doesn't have the best smell in the world, but it works. If it works, it works, right? So yeah, I use Sebamed on the outside. It's an intimate wash for me. It's perfect. It's perfect, especially if your yeast infection or BV has like managed to like make its way outside, and now like your outside is like getting a bit more swollen and a bit more like irritated. This must be like super TMI, but I mean, I'm hoping that we're all girls here, so it's okay. But yeah, if you feel like, you know, you're starting to see some symptoms, especially on the outside, it's not just an irritation on the inside anymore, definitely use this wash. I highly recommend it. Yeah, it's worked really well for me. But the smell is probably not my favorite thing in the world, but I don't really care because it works. So if you're looking for something that works, you'll like get over it. Like really, and it's unscented. So I don't know, but there is like a very specific smell to it. It's not like a scent. It's not like grapefruit or whatever else they try and do, but it's got a specific smell. Just try it anyway though if you are like struggling and having some issues on the outside. It'll like relieve you. It'll work. Another product I love using is called Candaspore Cookie Cream. It's really good as well for when things have gone wrong and have gone left on the outside. You kind of just put a little bit, a small amount. The texture is very like, it's very runny. It's a very thin cream. So yeah, it does create like some relief and like, oh, okay, the itch is gone. Hallelujah. If you're like looking for that like, oh, instant relief, this is like so good and so great for that. Yeah, I hope you try it and you like it. But all these products come like highly recommended because they've helped me, even though like I'm on a healing path now. Like I've been feeling better for a long time. These products got me through some rough times. Let's talk lifestyle changes. Let's talk what can we actually do in like our day-to-day lives to make sure that these things don't become like a recurring theme in our lives and like are constantly terrorizing us. I feel like we have a lot of control over that, a lot of control over our health, and a lot of control over our potential triggers, right? I mean, as time goes, you learn your body, you figure out what it likes, what it doesn't like, and you stay away from those things. So when it comes to lifestyle changes, I would say waxing is a great solution. I mean, as we all know, you know, hair will carry some form of bacteria, and that can really be a trigger for you. So don't do that. You know, don't keep like a huge bush, even if you're not gonna wax completely. Like, you don't want to be clean. You know, if you're gonna trim, if you're gonna shave, like do something so that it's not just like a huge 4C afro downstairs. Okay, another thing, I mentioned this before, was that you should see a gynae once a year. Go to the clinic once a year if your health care is not like the best, but just try and figure out and see what is going on inside of you at least once a year. Like, in terms of like dietary changes, I think sugar is a huge and massive culprit for, you know, BVs and for yeast infections. So if you're someone oratang di juicy, oratang di ice, because you know it's it's summer right now, it's hot, you're not drinking water, you're just on the juices, you're buying those 4 for 70 rand juices at Woolies, and that is like all you have. Guys, that's not gonna help. That's not good. So try and just stay away from sugary drinks. But you know what, surprisingly, can I say that I used to be like a Coke Zero addict, absolute addict. Like, I was drinking Coke Zero every day probably, and I've not drank Coke Zero for the past like 3 weeks. And I will say that I've seen a huge improvement when it just comes to just my health, my vaginal health, and just how I feel in general. So it's not even always like a sugar thing. It could be a carbonated thing, or you know, whatever the heck is in Coke Zero. Actually, I know that it's very high in sodium. So things like that can cause issues for you. So if you can stop drinking Coke Zero, Sprite Zero, Tony Zero, you know, very carbonated drinks, like try and substitute for water, then you'll be on your way, I promise you. Okay, another one that's not talked about a lot is these men, honey. These men with their dusty peens and their dirty peens are making y'all sick, okay? Okay? So figure out with your partner, like if you notice that, you know, every time you guys, you know, do the poom poom, that you're having like some issues down there, like start figuring out like what is the solution. Is it because happy, like what's happening? You know, sometimes like he's like infecting you and like giving you these things and like knocking off your pH all the time. So try and figure out with your partner and like have a simple and honest discussion that, hey, you know, every time we do this thing, like I fall sick, like I don't feel well. It's giving me trauma, it's giving trauma, so I want out, and I need to like, we need to figure this out, in essence. Okay, this lifestyle change was like my favorite one. I don't know if it's because like I like to be commando or I'm just that girly, but like, you know, ditch the undies sometimes. Like just leave them in the cupboard, just let them rest, you know, and let yourself rest. Just sleep without anything. Sometimes I even sleep without any pants on. Like it's so freeing, it's so awesome, and I would highly recommend it. And you just sleep without anything, like literally leave the silk pajamas, leave the boxes or whatever you're sleeping in, just, you know, let go for the night and just, you know, let your girly run free. Okay, so let's talk about ingrown hairs, those terrible things. It can be so painful to have an ingrown hair, especially when like if it ever gets infected or if it ever like starts like freaking out and becoming big. That's probably like the worst case scenario when it comes to a ingrown hair. But pretty much an ingrown hair, how does you know, ingrown hair happen to you? An ingrown hair, pretty much like maybe you'll wax or maybe you'll shave or something along those lines, and then when your hair grows back, it grows back like curved into the skin, and that is what pretty much creates all your inflammation and all the drama that you start seeing. So one of the ways to get rid of or to prevent, I don't even know if you can get rid of it, because once you have it, you kind of just have to let it do its thing. but to prevent it, you definitely have to exfoliate at least twice a week. This is an exfoliate I absolutely adore, that I use on my, like, you know, coochie after I've waxed especially. So like a day or two afterwards, I'll start like doing the exfoliation then, and just opening up my pores and just letting, you know, whatever needs to happen for the hair to grow the way it's supposed to. I'm a huge fan of that exfoliant, but you can use anything, honestly. You can use any type of exfoliant, but ideally for me, the one I like is because it's for down there. There's a product as well that I am super obsessed with that I started using. It's from Naked Cherry. They're an incredible brand. Like, she has really good products, actually, Naked Cherry. So like, look into her. Like, listen, that babe was high profile. Hey, she used to do Victoria Beckham's coochie. Like, who doesn't want to wax Victoria Beckham's coochie? That's dope. So she knows what she's doing, that lady at Naked Cherry. Check out her products, but I'll like show the one that I've been using and that I absolutely adore. But I'm gonna buy more of her stuff and like see what else I can use, because you can just never have like enough products. Okay, all seriousness aside, I mean, I know sometimes being ill and like having these things, you know, recurring all the time can be so stressful and like so frustrating. You know, I've been there, and thankfully I'm like making my way out of there, so whew, hallelujah. But I get it, you know. But in this part of the video, let's talk about like the fun things, the cool things, the things that we just want to try, and like, you know, just kind of like coochie wellness, I guess. And let's talk about that. Like, what are the fun things that we can have, you know, done down there that can just, you know, end up being fun? I feel like at the end of the day, it's not just all about like your coochie terrorizing you and like your pH balance always being off. It's also about like having fun with it. And, you know, part of being feminine, I feel, is like enjoying your coochie and like loving her and like appreciating her. Like, oh my gosh, I love my coochie. There's like nothing wrong with that feeling. I feel like it's very healthy. So let's talk about it. First thing you can do to have fun with your coochie, you know, with your cookie, is to get a vagatial. Why not? Why not get a vagatial? Like, this is actually on my list of like things that I want to try this year. So I mean, a vagatial is pretty much a facial for your coochie, as you can tell in the name. Yeah, it helps apparently with like ingrowns. It helps like to brighten it up there, especially when you've had like scarring from ingrowns, hyperpigmentation. Then you get the vagatial, and you know, you start like evening out the skin tone down there, which is so interesting. So I can't wait to try it. I have a place in mind, like where I want to do it. So let's see if it turns out good. Okay, I'm probably gonna try this one too, and it is called Vaginal Rejuvenation. So from what I understand, vaginal rejuvenation is like, it's even called vaginoplasty. What the heck? What a very plastic surgery kind of like name, right? When I saw it, I was like, whoa, what does this mean? Like, are they cutting your lips? Like, what is this? Sounds hectic. But apparently it's pretty much just them tightening what's happening down there. You know, it's just like they make it, yeah, they make it king risquiza-ini. Your man will be risquiza-ining. Oh, you know, I just saw that thing today. I was just like, what is this risquiza-ini thing, you guys? Then, okay, I saw the clip and I was like, oh, okay, I get it, fine. But anyway, yeah, the point is for your man to be risquiza-in vele. So I'm gonna try it. Like, I don't know the science behind it and if it even makes sense. But, you know, not everything is for science. Not everything is for, like, massive results. Sometimes you just do stuff because it's fun. And, like, you just want to try it. Like, why not? So, yeah, just also add on to the whole, you know, vaginal rejuvenation thing. Apparently, it's like a labia remodeling. A labia remodeling. Not reconstruction. But, like, a remodeling and, like, tightening. So, I'm wondering, like, I'm going to do a bit more research into it before I do that one. Because I'm doing the vagatial. The vagatial is, like, very straightforward. But the, you know, vag rejuvenation thing sounds a bit more complicated. So, I'll do my research for you guys and then I'll tell you, like, what I think. But it's on my list. Like, I'll look more into it. And the last fun thing I think you can do with your coochie is to do Kegels. I love Kegels. Kegels are hard. Some Kegels are much harder than others. So there's an app that I love to use, so I'll put it over here and you guys can download it. I'll put the link as well in the description, obviously. But it's really nice when you're like breathing in, breathing out, and doing your Kegels, like you're practicing, you know, your pelvic floor. If you want to be a mommy one day, like this is awesome. Like get your pelvic floor strong and like prepared, because apparently after you have a baby, your pelvic floor is like donezo. So yeah, try that app and like tell me what you think. And there is a lady on TikTok that I absolutely love. Like she does, it's so funny, and like so fun. She does Kegels to like different songs. So she do like a Beyonce Kegel. It's so fun, you guys. Like literally, I can't recommend her enough. Like try it. Some of her stuff is really hard, so she does warn you, like if you start feeling like you need to like go to the bathroom and it's getting too intense down there, like stop. Obviously your pelvic floor like is not ready, so don't do it. But other than that though, there's some other like easy beginner ones that she does that are really cool, so I'll put her link as well in the description too. Okay ladies, so that is it from me. Oh, I'm sad. Why am I sad this video is over? I feel like I had so much fun making it. And let me know what you guys think of my sit down videos. This is very different for me. You know, I'm a vloggy girl. But my vlog's not ready yet, so I still need to do a bunch of editing for my vlog. But this is the video I have for you for now. Add your tips as well. Add them in the comment section and let me know like what worked for you. Are you currently suffering with like some BV or yeast infection? And if any of these tips actually helped you, I'd love to hear your feedback. I would love to hear what you guys think of this content. But thank you so much for coming this far. Like I adore all of my subscribers, whether it's TikTok, whether it's Instagram, whether it's here. Like I love you guys. I love you all so much, and thank you so much for being here, and have a good day or evening. Mwah.